Hmm. 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 It doesn't make any sense. Ah, I see. Oh, hello, folks. Welcome to your next episode of our Tesla Model 3 Thrive unit hacking. Well, there's been something of an interesting development today, and wanted to make a quick video, which probably means this one will be about 40 minutes. Just quickly letting all of you folks know what the current state of play is. Also, that's why I've been checking out some of these excellent textbooks, because as we all know, my programming skills kind of began and ended with the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64 back here. I wish I was joking about that. So in our last video where we put our TI microcontroller back on our drive unit and then discovered that we didn't actually really need to remove it in the first place, because we could erase Elon's intellect out of the existing one and program our own LED Blinky program in there. Now, at that time, I mentioned that there was a project beginning to port the Open Inverter firmware to the TI microcontroller that's used on the Model 3, and it seems also the Model Y drive units. But what I didn't know is that the gentleman concerned had done quite a bit of work on this. So that appeared today, and that's what I want to show you on the computer here, just to get folks familiar with what's going on. Before jumping into that, it's just something I want to clear up. This is not me doing this. I'm only, joking about I'm only kind of half joking about this stuff. I'm not a software person. I can just about manage to program basic functions into the VCU now, but the TI programming stuff is, and the structure and all the stuff, the programming structure and the way of keeping it all together and dealing with all that is far and beyond any of my capabilities. So we've got to thank Dave very much for this. I think this is potentially the biggest development, at least in my little part of the EV world, since, I guess since I stumbled upon this crazy German guy who was telling me that he could run an induction motor with a little 64-pin chip and a handful of through-hole components, and that's what got us to where we are today. So let's go have a look on the old desktop here, and we'll show you what's going on. I'll put a link in the description also to the GitHub repo that Dave has kindly provided for us, and there's a lot of work in this. I know I had some folks contacting me over the last week or two now when I was first getting back into this, and they were kind of like wanting to send me drive units and stuff. Folks, this is not at a point that you can just program it and go. This is the hard way. This isn't the kind of I don't want to say anything I shouldn't, but it's not the easy route. Going to create something that we can fully open source and make freely available to everyone is not an easy route to take for the purposes of making these drive units function within conversion projects. So please do keep that in mind. This is the long haul. Now, that being said, couple more things that are worth clearing up are that there will be no hardware mods needed for this at all. You won't need a soldering iron. You won't need to interface with the inverter board other than plug in a JTAG connector, and I'm working on a way to make that so that it literally just clips into the JTAG socket on the board. So again, you know, if you decide to use this little thing that I'm making up, you may have to solder on that board, but you will not be soldering on your shiny Model 3 drive unit board. Let's be clear about that. So I want to clear up those couple things. So let's get on the computer here and I'll show you what we have to show you today. Otherwise, this will turn into a 40-minute video of me rambling senselessly, and nobody wants that. Alright, so here we are on the desktop computer here, and we have our GitHub now. For those of you that might have been around here before, this is my own GitHub repo that has info about the various hardware and so forth on the Model 3 drive unit, and this is where I was messing about, wasting my time thanks to that stupid JTAG programmer trying to design a mod board which we don't actually need, so yay for that. But on here you'll find things like CAN logs, SPI logs, various pinouts, hardware findings and so forth on here. Now, what you might not notice is over on the contributors area we have this gentleman here, and he has basically released today the beginnings of what's going to be an open source firmware for our Model 3, and indeed it would seem Model Y drive units, both front and rear. So if we go in here, we see that this is, go down to the description, and this is where Dave is working on porting the Open Inverter firmware to run on the Texas Instruments C2000 line of microcontroller, which is what we have on our Model 3, which is the focus at the minute. Now, there's a lot of info here. I would encourage everyone with even a passing interest, you don't need to look at the software stuff, but just to educate yourselves, even the first couple parts here would be well worth a read, just to see where things are. And the status area here tells us what's been done and what is to do. So as you see here, there's a lot to do, there is a lot done, and none of these things are easy. So just keep that in mind when you're wondering about what the progress is. So there's a full description here on how to build firmware. I've been messing about myself today with this. Found a couple of bits and pieces in here, and Dave is working on modifying them as well as actually doing the hard work. So let's have a quick look here. So say hello to good old Code Composer Studio, which is the IDE or Integrated Development Environment for the C2000 and indeed other Texas Instruments family of microcontrollers and microprocessors. So it's just for me. I'm not gonna. I don't understand 90% of what's going on here. The basics, yes, header files and C files and things like that. But it's just amazing for me to see familiar things like, say, the parameter system within Open Inverter now being mixed in with things like the EPWMs, which are actually these are the ones that these are the pins that are used on the actual Model 3 drive unit. So yeah, it's just amazing to see this stuff here, to see the beginning of it, and just to try to, I guess, do whatever I can to help Dave and to help other people that might get involved with this, and indeed to encourage other people to get involved with this, because I think this is a pretty big deal. So, folks, I will leave you there with this. It is really just wanted to have a kind of a, just to let people know, a kind of an awareness video that this is real and is actually quite a lot further down the road than I even thought it was, and that is thanks to a lot of hard work that Dave has put in. So that's it, folks. I'll pull the plug. As always, don't forget to dislike, do not share, do not subscribe to this ridiculous channel, and don't check those links in the description at all. I certainly won't put in links to this code or Dave's GitHub or any of those kind of things. So, yeah, pretty big day, I think. Do you agree, or am I just going crazy as normal? Do leave a comment. And other than that, we will see you in the next episode. Until then, can I even make this work? Let me see here. Until then, happy compiling on the TI Micro. Yay, build finished.